It's easy to demonize something or someone or a group to focus your sexual frustration, your need, your desperation upon an otherness, which becomes a scapegoat for your fears, for your unfulfilled desires, for your disappointments. It's so easy that it is often used as a way of controlling the masses, of redirecting this frustration. We can see this in pop culture with these movies that offer credence to some ideals, but then sort of direct them back to a shared commonality, a shared status quo. The movie theater becomes a temporary, unreal reality, a momentary reprieve from the world. We enter its darkness, we're momentarily transformed into this character which we validate ourselves through. We become engrossed in this alternative reality, which in most cases is more real than the world that we have entered into, entered the movie theater from. And after the movie's over, we return back to this shared delusion and we continue our everyday behavior, our routines. The movie has no effect, it's just a release, like going to the bar and drinking and telling your problems to the barman. It has no effect on the world. We're forced to then exist the other parts of our lives, and it's a way of relieving ourselves. And that's what pop culture does. It offers a venue for relief, for releasing these ideas, these energies. And this becomes more crucial when dealing with young men and the inevitable sexual frustration that results from liberating females from paternalism, as it was called. Let's face the truth. Paternalism, because I had to incorporate as many males as possible into the system, set up the circumstances where a lot of bad genes entered the gene pool. To put it bluntly, a lot of people, including myself, are born not because they deserve to be born using a natural standard, because they're worthy of survival, but because their survival is made possible through sheltering and through the control and the direction of female choice. Females have always been genetic and now they're mimetic filtering systems. Their sexual choices are not totally random. Whatever standard they are infected by from youth is the standard they use to discriminate between males, allowing some males to reproduce and other males to fall by the wayside, their genes lost forever. So when I listen to these groups like the MRAs whining about female behavior, threatening with saying that they're going to be dropping out, as if it matters really to the system, it makes me laugh. Most of them, I would say, don't deserve to be replicated, don't deserve a female, don't deserve their genes to be passed on. And females, having been indoctrinated within a certain cultural paradigm, as well as being influenced by their genes, which is attracted to a natural ideal, choose in accordance. And this is where the conflict in females comes about: their wishy-washiness, their youthful sluttiness, if you want, which later becomes this mature choice, which women think is a sign of their growth. In fact, it's a sign of them coming to terms with the social pressures, which in their youth are not present, they're not felt as much, and they're not understood as much. So females in their youth, they go for the more instinctively attractive male, the so-called bad boy. And then later on, they sort of realize that there's limitations and that there's social considerations and economic considerations. So they settle. They settle for the reliable one, the predictable one, the dedicated one, the one who's so happy that he has a female at all that he'll do anything to keep them happy. And this is the so-called nice guy. So let's not demonize women. Women fulfill a natural role. They are tools, as they always have been. And feminism should be understood through that prism, through that social, economic, Judeo-Christian prism. They are the outcome of a cultural paradigm which makes of certain ideals more useful, more good, quote unquote, and more socially desirable. And females act as a social agency, an agent, selecting males in accordance with their social viability, just as they would select males in a natural setting in accordance with their natural viability, their survivability. Within a social viability, of course, within a social environment, of course, this changes because there's different kind of social economic structures. So the standards used by a female in one culture are not the same with the ones used by another. Of course, their common ground is their root in natural evolution, which has not been thoroughly expunged from them. So they still function rationally under mimetic premises, but instinctively, intuitively, they're still driven by a natural, a genetic premise. This is where the conflict comes in. So as a woman matures, her rational side, her practical side, gains dominance, it is to be expected. As you grow older, you gain more control over your your energies. So her natural proclivities take a back seat, and she begins choosing males in accordance with social concerns. So this is why most marriages are unhappy ones. They're based on desperation, on settling down. This is why it's called settling down. And why do I say that females should not be demonized? Because they serve a purpose with their actions, with their choices. They keep out males that, using whatever standard is prevalent, should not pass on their genes. Now, this attempt to shame women is really hilarious because it uses, of course, what is prevalent in our modern Western systems, particularly in the U.S. This shaming, this guilt, which I won't characterize and I won't explore from where it comes. Just to say that it's something used very often. This tactic of victimization, of pouting, of seeking justice through uh, these childish tantrums.